This is the Business of Apps podcast, bringing you actionable insights from the leaders of the global app industry and the world's fastest growing apps. You can find more app news, data and analysis over at businessofapps.com.
Welcome to the Business of Apps podcast. On this show, we invite app industry professionals to cover various topics. We promise to do our best to keep it both insightful but brief. In this episode, we have Luca Mastrorocco, co-founder of Replug. Luca, welcome to the Business of Apps podcast.
All right, thanks a lot for the time and inviting.
Great, thank you for coming. Okay, this is just my guess, but I think some of you are interested in rockets. Do you watch SpaceX rocket launches? You do? Well, you know what a rocket is then. Speaking of launches, we all in the app industry know what a mobile app launch is, but the launch metaphor has come to mobile from space industry. Before app launches, there were lots of space rocket launches. No, I'm not going to interview Elon Musk in this episode. Instead, it will be Luca from Replug, as I've just said a minute ago. And he will be telling us about a holistic approach to app growth scaling. But as always on the show, let's talk about you, Luca. First, please tell us about your background.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Hart. So as you might have guessed from my name, I'm Italian. Been living around the world though for the past 20 years. I've lived in Japan, I lived in Australia, I lived in UK. Now I live in Germany since 10 years. And I've been working the art tech space for the past 10 years, more or less, since I moved to Berlin. I work for some of the biggest network here in the city, and always covered commercial roles, like up to the point where I was VP Global Business, taking care of the global business operation for my last company. And then a couple of years ago, I just started Replug. So I'm an Italian based in Berlin, like many others.
That's nice. It's no wonder for me anymore. Being in Berlin many times and seeing folks from all over the world, I just got used to seeing people from Italy, UK, Netherlands, whatever, working in Berlin, because it looks like people do love the city. Yeah. So what is the Replug today? What do you guys do?
So Replug is a mobile app marketing consulting agency. We basically help mobile-first companies or traditional companies basically to scale activities for their mobile applications. As you might understand, we work with companies where the mobile app is the main touch point to the users, but we also help more traditional companies, like the one that are coming maybe from the offline space or the online space. As a consulting company, we are very transparent and straight to the point approach, where we try to bring value very quickly. And being based in Berlin, the main core of our business is obviously Europe, Germany, Italy, and other countries in the EU system. We launched just 1 week before the COVID lockdown happened in Europe, so very nice timing on that.
Yeah,
but it was interesting. It was nice to start a business during that period. And the team, we put together a team of experts in the digital field. So we kind of have people from all over the world. And that's kind of a short summary of what Replug is.
Okay, so now let's talk about why did you decide to come up with this rocket analogy I've just described it before for your model to describe app growth scaling. And so the story, why rocket, and tell us about the model itself.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, rockets, has always been associated with growth, right? So we chose the rocket as an analogy for growth because we think it's kind of representative of all the activities when it comes to, explaining easily to clients, okay, we want to grow your business. So the rocket was kind of a no-brain choice in that sense. We also chose the rocket specifically because it's very visual and it's very simple to explain to our customers what our approach is when it comes to app growth activities, right? So we didn't choose just another stack, like there are many in the industry right now, as you might know. We decided to create something that is very simple to understand and to communicate so that the client can actually get a visual understanding of what it is about. Now, obviously, that translates internally, so to say, in a complex assessment of the client's, upgrowth activities and upgrowth stack. That then we use to basically do audit and define what are the growth activities that are needed for our customers.
Okay, let's talk about the model, starting with the infrastructure, which is the biggest part of the rocket. So what is made of?
So as you mentioned, in our rocket, the infrastructure plays a critical role. It is the biggest one in the rocket, also like visually, because digital infrastructure is at the basis of the rocket, and we define it in a way as the engine, like what makes everything work. Without the right infrastructure, obviously, the app cannot really work properly. And we like to give the digital infrastructure, or the infrastructure of the app, again, a very prominent role in our work as well. Also because, again, as you know as well, the tech side of an app kind of touches different areas, so it's very important. When it comes to infrastructures, as I'm sure most of the listeners know as well, it's about like tracking and analytics, for example, right? Attribution, MMPs, making sure that deep linking actually work, for example, right? Or if you have an app that uses geolocalization, for example, making sure that this side of the tech stack actually works. However, it also refers, for example, to the CRM and engagement side of the business. So the CRM SDK, for example, so how to engage users after we acquired, and also to improve the experience of the app. For example, with A/B testing solutions, with testing tools that you integrate within the app. So as you mentioned, like the infrastructure is very, very important. And I mean, I could talk a lot about it, but just to keep it short, it's like it's kind of the engine of everything. Like what makes the rocket work.
Got it. So UA is the next step. And I used to believe that the most popular usage of UA acronym was to designate a Ukrainian domain name zone. Seriously. But, being a part of Business of Apps that has been covering app industry for a number of years, on top of my career, my previous incarnation as an app marketer, now I know that it stands for user acquisition, like the most popular acronym. The most popular meaning for UI is user acquisition. Let's talk about this part of your model.
Yes, UA, as you said, user acquisition is the next part of the rocket. And as most of us know, the user acquisition kind of plays another critical role in an app growth strategy, both when we look at it from an organic perspective, but also from a paid perspective. And especially lately with the iOS 14 release, UA kind of starts to play also an even more important role, because paid acquisition kind of becomes more difficult to achieve. So kind of there's a shift towards the organic growth. Yeah, so it's interesting, it does play one of these very important role in growth. When we think about user acquisition in the rocket, we think about, of course, organic growth, so app store optimization. We think about paid UA, so anything that is paid. We focus at Replug mainly on channels that are transparent, for example, like Facebook, Apple Search Ads, Google, TikTok, Snapchat. And then when thinking about user acquisition, we also think about the conversion funnel. Conversion funnel being how we make sure that we don't just acquire user in terms of a download, but we make sure that we convert them into paying users. Yeah, so we still consider it part of the acquisition process, because it is probably the most meaningful point in the growth of a mobile app. We want to make sure that we optimize all the steps from the download to monetization.
All right, got you. Because basically, this is the major point. Every app business is about sustainability, essentially making money
Correct.
on long term, being able to build long term strategy and see like what's coming, being able to forecast, based on your on the model you've built to grow the app, on your experience. And now let's move up to the next part of your rocket. I'm looking at the plan, and this is the UX and UI.
Yes.
Tell us about their significance.
UX and UI, it's not a part of the rocket that, again, is very important. Obviously, everything in the rocket is kind of important, but they also play a very important role and often are forgotten, let's say like this, from a marketing perspective, because it kind of falls more into the product or design part of the business. If you look at our rocket, you will see that UX and UI are the wing of the rocket, so we call it the wings, which basically stabilize the rocket. Yeah,
exactly.
And we think these two parts are very important, or at least play a very crucial role into the into Upgrowth, because sometimes it's not just about marketing; it's also about the product, right? So it's very easy, and we talk with a lot of clients. It's very easy to hear sometimes like, "Oh, marketing doesn't work. I'm just wasting money because the user don't pay or they don't subscribe to my services." But what we try to analyze, or at least take a look at and support the team, is also like try to understand how the product is designed, how the experience is for the users, because we need to make sure that marketing works hand in hand with the product. Yeah. And it is a tough conversation to have with clients, because obviously, sometimes saying, "Hey, it's actually your product doesn't work." It gets some eyebrows raised. But most of our customers actually appreciate this honesty that we have, because they then are able to also take internal feedback, to other teams, and then try to improve continuously the app, which is again a very important step in growing the business. Yeah. So definitely, we really care about the look and feel of the app. Yeah, it's so we can say.
Gotcha, Luca. Next up on your rocket plan is engagement. This is the word you can hear like probably the most among the conversation of marketers, because nobody wants an app that gets lots of downloads and no engagement at all. Like people using the app for a day, forget about it and just move on. This is just a disaster. So engagement, it's really crucial part. Let's talk about its importance and what does it take to achieve a high level of engagement between the app and users.
Yeah, as you said, engagement is like the end of the model, so to say, the top. It kind of goes and completes the whole rocket. And as you mentioned, like no business wants to just acquire users for the sake of it. They want to have users, returning users.
Doesn't make any sense, right?
Exactly. And we decided to put it as the top. I'm not sure how that technically is called, that part of the rocket, but at the top of it, because it's like a hat to all the other activities. Like we need to have a strategy for engagement of the acquired audience. We need to make sure that we come up with a plan to improve the LTV of the acquired users. And that is, as you know, that's very easy to say, but sometimes it's very complicated to actually implement such strategy. We talk with many partners that approach engagement activities as, let's just shoot some push notifications or emails and hope that they come back. Yeah, very difficult to define objectives sometimes. There's no, let's say, long-term plan around engagement. So what we see and what we try to do, also what we try to discuss with our partners, is how to create a journey for the users from point A to point B, whatever those points are. But all the communication, all the activities that is thought, planned, and implemented need to be aligned in that. So we cannot just pull the users from all different sides with no direction. We actually need to make sure that we kind of gently push them towards our goals. And we do that. We have a few projects on the CRM, retention engagement side of the business. And, it's not only about purchase, because sometimes, as you said, you acquire users and then perhaps they don't take the first step in the whole funnel. So we go back to the conversion funnel before. They don't register. Right. And then we need to make sure that we create this type of communication to make sure that they understand the value of why they need to register, or for any other step in a conversion funnel. So engagement does play, of course, another important role in the rockets. And we want to make sure to communicate this to our partners so that they kind of see how every single part of the rocket is connected and they play well together.
So yeah, download is just the first step. The goal is to see that people are actually taking the actions we want them to take. Register, purchase, subscribe,
referral rate, for example.
Open an account, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, what are external factors that a marketer should always keep in mind thinking about the model for the app growth?
Yeah, it's very, very good point. It's like also when we were thinking about our rocket, we first started with the rocket components, and then we thought, okay, wait a sec, there's so much that we can do as marketers, as business owners, to make sure that we grow in the right direction. There are also external components to what we do that play a role in our growth. And we kind of designed them as planets because we like to think that the rocket is up in the space. But there are a couple of planets there that are like the market, so the market conditions pretty much. And what best moment in the history to talk about market condition when we think about COVID. But this obviously is one example of how market condition can really force us to rethink growth strategies and also assess, because sometimes you might have the best app, best marketing activities, marketing strategy, but then because of a situation like COVID, everything goes to badly. The other side of the story is also the competition, because we cannot just ignore what the competition is doing. We like to tell our customer that they need to look at the competition, they need to understand what they're doing, and they need to also learn sometimes, because competition is not necessarily just like something that we have to go against. We need to take also inspiration. Yeah, and so many times we hear from our clients like, "Oh no, please don't compare us to these guys because these are not, we're not the competition."
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, well, there are things that they're doing that still work. So you do really want to see how they behave or what they do. So these two, so market condition and competition, are I would say two of the external factors that play a critical role in the app growth strategy for companies.
Gotcha, Luca. Okay, I think we've described every part of your plan of the rocket, and now I have just a few more questions I ask every guest on the show to help the audience to have a little bit better picture of who they are, just on a personal level. So, What smartphone do you have? On which side of iOS or an Android duopoly are you?
I'm an iOS user. I iPhone since 10 years, I think, and Mac. I'm an Apple fan.
So you're deep in the app ecosystem.
Yes.
Apple ecosystem. Looking back, can you remember your first mobile phone?
Oh, I'm quite old, so my first mobile phone was not a smartphone. It was actually one of those old, how you call it, the Motorola. Those big mobile phones that now are like the one that we use at home, if anybody still has a phone at home. And I still remember it was the first one I got when I was 17. So yes, that's how old I am. And then after that, I got a Nokia 3210, which was the small one, Nokia. And that was for me like yes, I'm in the future now. And then smartphone came, and then everything changed.
Yeah, that was the moment. Okay, right now, imagine you've left your smartphone at home and you went for whatever business. What would be the most missing feature for you?
Definitely, I would say calendar. The calendar in my phone. I live with my Google Calendar in this case. I don't use the Apple Calendar because it's connected to my email. But I have everything on it. Like seriously, from work related stuff to personal related stuff.
So that's part of your life, living in your phone.
Yes, so much that my business partner makes fun of me because I set reminders for everyone else to take out dinner, stuff like this. It's just...
Nice. So, what new app technologies are you most excited about? When you look at your iPhone, what would you like this thing to be able to do, which is not capable of doing right now? Could be hardware, software, and I'm not asking like specifically, more features. Probably something that will help you to, use it less, to not be that addictive to your device if that's the case for you. If you feel that you have to use it less, so what do you think?
So I'm not sure about technology that could make it less prominent, I would say. But when I think about what I would like to see in the phone, there are a couple of things that come to my mind. I think one obviously is VR. I mean, like I've been quite a few times to the MWC in Barcelona, not the past year, obviously, because of the COVID, but right. And there you see a lot of nice innovation. And VR, I think, is one of those things that still has to pick up. And I would like, you see sometimes e-commerce apps that do use VR, but I would like to see it more better, perhaps in the gaming industry. I like games, and that could be very cool. And one thing that I feel is missing in my iPhone, although I haven't tried the latest earphone from Apple, is the sound. I would love sound to be more, let's say, immersive, so to say. Like I would like to have how you call it, like this surround system, like we have in the cinema, like in my headphone. Like I want to have a system that allows me to live. I don't know if it exists. This is going to be like very weird if it's already out there, but I definitely would love to see that as a nice feature.
Gotcha. Okay. And before I let you go, there's just one more question. How can people get in touch with you and get more information about what you do?
So I would say perhaps the easiest way would be LinkedIn. Obviously, I am there. My name is, I would say, pretty uncommon, so you will find me easily. And you can send me a request with a short message, or otherwise you can also shoot me an email. My email address is luca@rplg.io, which is our website.
Terrific. Thanks a lot for your time and coming on our podcast, Luca. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And that was Luca Mastrorocco, co-founder of Replug. To listen to more episodes, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast. Just search for Business of Apps and you will find us easily. We release episodes on Mondays, so subscribe and you'll be able to get new episodes on your smartphone, tablet, or computer as soon as we release them. And please don't forget to leave us a review and comment on iTunes. It is highly appreciated. And all episodes will also be available on businessofapps.com. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Apps podcast. For more, head on over to businessofapps.com.